gelas-gelas aling-aling teh atuh. Tapi harus ada gelas kan? Boleh minum?
Ya, mau minum.
Boleh minum.
Boleh, boleh.
Masuk. Ini colokin dulu kan. Biar sambil aja.
Lihat pinnya.
Butuh sesuatu nggak? Catatan apa gitu?
Enggak. Udah ya, clear yang di Canva ya.
Nanti kalau udah beres,
Sudah, silahkan. Sudah, maaf terlambat. 1
Saya
menit.
juga baru masuk kok.
Oke.
Mau kita mulai, Mbak Ati?
Silahkan, kan chairman-nya
Hah?
sampean.
Oke. Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you.
Cek sound.
Yeah. You're good. Okay, let me continue. Thank you, Bu Ati. And it's been, I don't know, it's been a while since I did this. Right? It's been a
Yes.
while. So let's see if we still have it to do the right thing on this project presentation, final project presentation. So welcome Rinaldi Faisal and the supporting team of Rinaldi. Can you hear us well? Hello, Rinaldi. Hello. Faisal, Rinaldi Faisal. Nggak dengar kayaknya nih anak. Halo.
Halo. Can you hear us?
Rinaldi Faisal.
Did you say something?
Well, he's on mute, but
Iya, mungkin speakernya juga. Kok bergabung?
malah out.
Iya.
Ya, beginilah.
Iya,
Teknologi.
banyak technical problem.
Harusnya sih sidang bolehlah offline ya, asal 3 orang di ruangan.
Oh, kemarin sih ada rapat banyak kan di ruangan.
Iya kan? Banyak ininya ya, banyak glitch-nya, apalagi akhir-akhir ini entah kenapa internetku parah banget.
Oh, pakai apa di rumah?
Pakai Megavision.
Oh.
Udah dari IndiHome payah aku pindahin di sini. Ini biasanya lancar jaya, cuman entahlah. Banyak yang pakai juga kali di rumah.
Oh, bisa jadi.
Oleh Rinaldi, try to check your sound. Wah, alamat batal ini. Friend of Rinaldi, could you tell him that he's not on the system? Iqbal, who else? Diana.
Ini nggak tahu kenapa suaranya nggak keluar ya.
Sudah keluar, laptop kamunya yang ngaco.
Kita sudah ngomong dari tadi. Kita bersuara dari tadi.
Aduh, aku restart dulu.
Ya, go ahead. Cuma juga saya bilang go ahead.
Belum pernah ke kampus sama sekali?
Beberapa hari lalu rapat di MBA, tapi kalau ke ITB-nya mah belum pernah dari Maret.
Oh.
Pernah ke sana?
Pernah sih, sepi sekali.
Asik ya.
Asik atau spooky sebenarnya?
Iya sih benar.
Ini apa ngebecandain Pak Bambang Rudito. Kayaknya sebelum mulai offline Bapak bertugas dulu deh.
Iya benar, ngilangin semua aura-aura negatif, Pak.
Iya.
Udah gondrong lagi dia kan sekarang.
Oh iya.
Bambang.
Iya, dan aku kemarin kan ke ruangan ambil barang ya.
Ah,
Jadi ya gitulah spooky. Lantai 3 kan
ini banget ya, kerasa ya.
ya
Entah di
untungnya siang sih.
sendiri.
Iya.
Yang lagi biasa aja sering dengar cerita aneh-aneh dari satpam yang jaga itu.
Loh, di ruangan kita itu yang suka ngoda itu komputernya Danu.
Suka ngapain?
Goda, maksudnya seharian itu dia nggak muncul. Kan kalau apa itu namanya monitor sleep kan dia nyala
Ah,
kalau ada yang bergerak kan sebenarnya.
ah,
Nah itu nggak ada yang bergerak, itu nyala.
kacau.
Gak ada, nggak bisa.
Halo Faisal, tes.
Kenapa?
Nah,
Kenapa tiba-tiba?
Suara dia keluar tapi suara kita nggak masuk ya.
heeh.
Oh, kenapa? Cek, maaf Pak Ilianto, udah keluar belum ya suaranya?
Tes, tes. Udah dengar suara saya belum?
Udah Pak, alhamdulillah ya Allah.
Oke, minum dulu, minum dulu.
Aduh,
Asli dia bawa minum.
jadi apa? Dua gelas sedang.
Okay, let's start before someone else crash, system crash. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Thank you to Bu Atik. And this is probably, I don't know with Bu Atik, this is my first time since couple months ago we did this kind of thing, and we need to do it online now. So hopefully nothing goes wrong. And today, this is the Tuesday, November the 24th. We'll be hearing our future MBA students by the name Rinaldi Faisal. Let me see your, hold on, where is it? Okay, Muhammad Rinaldi Faisal, your student ID number is 29118493, and you are under the supervision of Pak Wawan Dewanto.
Yes.
And the title of your proposed final project is Marketing Strategy for Increasing Sales Conversion Rate of Dari Bandung Project Store in E-commerce Shopee Indonesia. Are we dealing with the right person, Muhammad Rinaldi Faisal?
Yes.
Ya.
Ready, sir.
Sama lu mah kenal lah, bisa ada yang jokiin. Okay, Rinaldi, basically we will have 3 sessions for the entire process. In the first session, we will give you around 15 minutes, not around exactly 15 minutes to present your research finding. And then we'll continue with some question and answer to clarify some of your research finding based on your presentation and also based on your manuscript. Okay. And then when we decided that we satisfied with all the answer given to us, we will be asking you and your supporter to leave the room for a while I have a discussion with Mbak Atik, and then we'll call you back when we're ready.
Okay, Pak, clear.
Sounds good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Tapi kalau nanti kita suruh keluar, balikinnya lagi, siapa yang ngasih tahu ya? Mbak Andang. Halo Mbak Andang, room seminar 1, siapapun. Andang atau Bayu?
Ini aja lah, dikasih waktu 5 menit harus balik lagi gitu aja.
Oh ya udah, okay, just give us around 5 minutes and then you may rejoin later on.
Okay, siap Pak.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, we good to go, Mbak Atik?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Rinaldi. You may start your presentation now, and I'll be counting your time. Okay, make sure you use your time efficiently.
Can I start?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Muhammad Naldi Faisal Abdul Qahar. You can call me Aldi. First of all, thank you for Pak Yulianto and Ibu Atik as the examiners. Okay, and for all other audience, thank you for joining my oral defense. Okay, everyone. Today I will present my final project that titled Marketing Strategy for Increasing Sales Conversion Rate of Dari Bandung Project Store in E-commerce Shopee Indonesia. That advised by Pak Wawan Dewanto. So here are our today's topic. There are 4 chapters. First, introduction. Second, business issue exploration. Third, business solution. And the last is implementation plan. So here are our first chapter, introduction. There are research background, company profile, business issue, research question, objective, and limitation. So here are our background. The background is about the potential e-commerce industry in Indonesia. We can see the data from McKinsey & Company, data about projection of Indonesian e-commerce market value in trillion. That in 2017, the value is only 112 trillion rupiah, but it will grow until 700 until 900 trillion rupiah in 2022. Wow, what a number. And another data from Mercer Machine Research, we can see that Indonesia is the fastest growth e-commerce in the world. And the next data from the APGII, that Indonesian internet user, it's growth fast and constant. And another data from the same research, the Indonesian internet user behavior, we can see from the chart that the majority of internet user number 53% never shop online. So from all of the data, we can see that the potential e-commerce industry in Indonesia is very promising for now and for the future. So here are my company profile, that Dari Bandung Project Store or DBP. DBP is an e-commerce store that sells various type of products, especially home living product with competitive price, good quality, and guarantee at e-commerce Shopee Indonesia. DBP has total sales about 1.3 billion rupiah, and every month we sold more than 3,000 piece product and has more than 14,000 Shopee followers and more than 21,000 positive review from consumer. Here our product. So the product is in so much category. There are Mostrep, Vietnam drip coffee, hand hand glove wash dressing, and another product, but we specially sell home living product. So here our business issue, we can see that from data, DBP's monthly sellers, every month, there are 45,000 Shopee users that visit store DBP. But from that number, from 100% visitor, only 17% that become the potential buyer, and only 5.7% that become buyer. So in the other word, we can know that 94% visitor, or about 42,000 people in 1 month who were visited, interested, and saw the DBP product, didn't buy the DBP product for various reasons. So DBP want to increase sales by maximizing existing visitor. Yeah, DBP want to increasing the sales without spending additional resources and cost to increase the number of visitor. So here are the research question. First, why the sales conversion rate of DBP is low? Second, what is the best marketing strategy to solve the business issue of DBP? Third, how will that marketing strategy will be implemented? And the research objective is to answer the research question. And for research implementation, this research is focused on strategy to solve the DBP problem about the low of sales conversion rate. On the other hand, human resources, finance, operation aspect are not focused more deeply in this research. Okay, next chapter 2. Business issue exploration, there are conceptual framework, internal and external analysis, SWOT analysis, and root causes using Fishbone. So here our conceptual framework. First, we start from the business issue, that is the law of sales conversion rate, and we did the internal and external analysis to doing the exploration, and after that, we did the SWOT analysis, and next is root cause analysis, and for more analysis deeply, we are using the customer behavior analysis, and finally, we have the business solution alternative, and the last, we have the implementation plan to solve the DBP business issue. Here, first is the step analysis. So the segmenting is Shopee user throughout Indonesia, and for targeting is so as table, and for positioning, DBP want to sell a good quality product but still affordable price. Next is marketing mix for P. First is product is home living product as cooking tools and coffee brew tools. Price is range from 2,000 until 35,000 rupiah. Plus is Shopee Indonesia. Promotion is use Iklanku and flash sale Shopee. Next is business model canvas. Is so as the picture. Next, the competitor analysis. DBP has some of many competitor DBP are Garment Mart, Castle Dracula, and Toso official store. We can see from the table that the store rating of DBP is good enough, and for the price is still competitive comparing with the other competitor. Next is Fortress 5 force analysis. We can see that the forces for supplier, new entrants, substitutes, and delivery are low, but there is one force that high, that is buyer's forces. Because DBP has a lot of consumer, the buyer price sensitive, buyers can get product substitute easily, and buyer haven't to pay high switching costs. Next is SWOT analysis. The strength of DBP is best services with customer satisfaction guarantee. And for weakness, the selling price is not always the cheapest on Shopee. For opportunity, the high growth of internet and e-commerce in Indonesia. For the threat, many competitors sell product at lower prices, and consumer can compare price and find the lowest price easily on Shopee. Okay, here the root cause analysis. So the first cause is the place, because a warehouse only in Bandung and only selling one platform. And for consumer behavior, the problem is consumer only see product and consumer didn't buy product directly. For product, the product is small. For promotion, problem is the appearance of Shopee's product page is less convincing. Yeah, that's all. The causes of law of sales conversion rate DBP. Okay, next is chapter 3, business solution. There are business solution alternative based on consumer behavior analysis and business solution alternative result. Okay, so for this research, I did the consumer behavior analysis by doing the online questioning on 5 until 10 August 22. The respondents are internet user throughout Indonesia and DBP consumer. So I get the data from 500 valid respondents who had made purchase at Shopee using the Shopee apps. For the questionnaire, I'm using the e-commerce sales funnel. There are 5 stages, but in this research, I only use 3 stages. The first is visit store stage, the second is view product stage, and the last is complete purchase stage. Why only 3 stages? Because I match it with the customer journey in Shopee Indonesian application in mobile app in mobile. So here are the 500 respondent profile. There are their gender, age, occupation, and so on. So here are the results in the visit store stage, first stage. It's about the search and open product. So in the question about condition to search and view product on Shopee, the majority of respondents choose that want to buy product when they doing a search product because they want to buy a product but don't buy it right away for various reasons. And for question opening product at Shopee result, respondent choose answer, the majority of respondents choose answer that they like to open product that have no intention of buying. Yeah, they have no intention of buying, but they open it. The next stage is view product stage. In this stage, the customer and the respondent view the information at Shopee product page. There are many information such as photo, title, price, and so on. So I asked the respondent what is their shopping consideration when viewing the product, and here are the result. Yeah, the result about shopping consideration when viewing the part information in Shopee product page. The first is photo product. Majority of respondents choose that they prefer if the photo product use the real picture product photo that show product clearly and background is natural without editing. For product price, majority of respondents, number 84%, choose that the price of the product doesn't have to be the cheapest, but the product has more value, is more convincing, and the price still within the budget of the money that they have. For product rating, majority of respondents choose that the minimum rating is 4.5 stars, and for shipping costs, majority of respondents choose that shipping cost must be lower than the product price. Next is availability expedition. Majority of respondents choose that will only shop if there's an expedition with free or cheap postage according to their budget. For availability of COD payment, majority of respondents choose that didn't pay attention to the availability of COD payment option considered when buying product at Shopee. But we can see that there are 12% respondents that choose answer that will only shop if the COD payment option is available. It's very interesting data for Shopee seller. And next is photo review from buyer. Majority of respondents choose that will only buy product that have real picture product review from consumer. Next is still same stage, view product stage. About the location seller, majority of respondents choose that the seller are in the same city and the seller is located nearby the city and the seller in a city that's still in same island. And the next is product description. Majority of respondents choose that product description that must be explained. Must be explanation about the product specification. Okay, the last stage is complete purchase stage. In this stage, respondent will choose the reason for not shopping immediately after seeing product on Shopee. So we know the reason why the consumer didn't shopping immediately. Here are the reason. So the reason, the top one reason is because they're bought it at another cheaper shop. The next favorite answer is because postpone the purchase but added to chart that can be purchased later. And the next reason is because they bought it at another shop that was more convincing about the information product page. Next is the business solution alternative reason. There are two business solutions that I find and propose in this research. The first is improve Shopee product page, and second, follow up potential buyer. So here the explanation. It came from the respondent answer. So the table, there are three parts. The first is info in product page and the current condition, and the next column is new solution. For example, for photo product, the current condition is use photo product from supplier with white background, and the new solution is your real picture that show product clearly with natural background. And next is expedition option. The current condition is only use one expedition, JNT Express, but the new solution is must open all of the expedition that in available in Shopee included instant courier such as Gojek, Grab, and the low price expedition such as Si Cepat Halu and Ninja Express. Next is seller location. And now the current condition is only in one city in Bandung. But for the new solution, DBP must adding warehouse in another city such as Jakarta to expand the market in Jabodetabek, in Surabaya, and in every big city in Indonesia. The next solution is follow up potential buyer. So I already, based on the respondent and analysis in the Shopee, I already have the 3 type potential buyer. The first is potential buyer that add product to cart but haven't checked out, so the BP must broadcast chat special free shipping cost or discount voucher. The second type is potential buyer that check out product but haven't made a payment, so the BP must personal chat to reminder payment. And the last type of potential buyer is buyer that check out product but didn't make payment until the deadline, so the BP must personal chat to ask about the recent cancel order and offering special additional gift to create new order. So the last chapter is implementation plan. There are conclusion, action plan, and proposed budget and estimate result. So the conclusion of this research is first about the causes of the BP's low sales conversion rate is caused by 2 major reasons. First, habit of Shopee user who open product without buying intent or delaying the purchase. Second, information on the BP product page not convincing. And for marketing strategy to solve the business of the BP is improving the appearance of the BP product page on Shopee and following up the potential buyer and other solution action plan table. Here the action plan table. So there are fixing product information page on Shopee, maximizing potential buyer opportunity, reduce COGS, open branch warehouse, improve service quality, increase the number of product, and increase the number of product rating and review. Here the proposed budget about 28 million rupiah, and for the result, I estimate it will increase sales per month about 162 million rupiah per month. Yeah. Okay, that's all. Thank you, Pak Yulianti and Ibu Atik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Rinaldi, for managing your time wisely. Now we're going into the second session, and we'll be starting with Bu Atik. Go ahead, Bu Atik.
Okay, thank you, Pak Yanto. Rinaldi, can you go to the introduction, the slide, please?
Okay.
Sampai business issue dulu.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's interesting that you put this as business issue. So if you can summarize it in the single sentence, the business issue is?
The business issue is the law maximizing potential sales by increasing the sales conversion rate.
Increasing, okay. Go to the conceptual framework. Yeah, okay. So how does this analysis relates to the effort to increase the conversion rate?
Okay, ma'am. This research is to answer what is the weakness in my store, what is the consumer behavior. So the first I did the internal analysis to see what is the weakness in my store, and after that I'm doing the external analysis. Same analysis, it focuses to do the consumer behavior survey, and after that I know what is my strengths, weakness, opportunity, and threat. And after that, I'm doing the online questionnaire for focus for deeply what is the buyer's behavior in Shopee. And after that, I have the solution how to improve the sales conversion rate, because I already know what is the weakness in my store, what is the Shopee user behavior, why they open product, why they didn't buy immediately. And after that, I have the business solution alternative and the implementation plan, ma'am.
Okay, I need to correct something in here. So in making a strategy, we need to compare the gap. One of the criteria of a good strategy is that there is a fit between external environment and internal environment, which is why you did the internal and external analysis. However, the way you put the consumer behavior analysis, it's supposed to be part of external analysis because you're trying to find the gap, what you have and what the customer wants to answer the problem. So please remove all the consumer behavior analysis in chapter 3 into chapter 2. Yeah, so that from that you can really analyze the root cause of the problem of that you have. Okay, go on next.
Okay.
Di slide-nya di next aja dulu. Dicatatnya. Oke, terus. Sampai saya bilang oke, berhenti di sini. Oke, terus. Nah, sebentar. Business model canvas. I think from my understanding, business model canvas for customer segment should be the target market of your company, not the segments. Even though the title is consumer segment, it should be a target market, not the segment. Itu koreksinya di sini. Go to the next part. Nah, okay. So I see inconsistency from your competitor analysis to the SWOT analysis and consumer behavior analysis. So SWOT analysis should be based on the internal analysis and also the competitor analysis. So the thing that you need to compare between the store should be the same with the thing you identify in strength and weaknesses. So like if I see from this analysis, you compare the age, number of review, follower, store rating, and product prices. And then if you go to the SWOT, let me see. Best service of customer satisfaction guarantee. You didn't analyze that from the competitor's perspective. How do we know that your service is really the best service? Or first-hand supplier directly from factories in China. Where are the other store materials come from? We didn't know that from your analysis as well. And then the selling price is not always the cheapest on Shopee. So you need to make a comparison from the competitor, which product that is similar or not. And then go to the fishbone diagram. Nah, how do I get this analysis should be based on the previous analysis. That's why I asked you to move the consumer behavior analysis to chapter 2. So like if place is the problem, warehouse only in Bandung, why does having a warehouse solely in Bandung is a problem from the data that you have? Because like I said, I didn't see any comparison about the warehouse location from the competitor's perspective. And then from the customer, do they really care about, you are mentioning about the shipping cost should not be higher compared to the price, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but if I don't know, the other competitors, where are their warehouse located? itu nggak ada diidentifikasi. Terus juga you didn't identify other platform that the competitor has. You've identified the competitors, that is good, but the depth of analysis that you did is a bit shallow, I think. Terus from the customer behavior, buying product from the competitors. Jadi gini, competitor analysis, internal analysis, root cause analysis itu harus konsisten. That's why when I see your report, I kind of feel sorry because I think you have a lot of data, but you don't arrange it in a way that that is easier for people to understand your line of thought. Gitu. Okay. So in chapter sorry, Porter 5 Forces dulu deh, ke Porter 5 Forces sekarang balik lagi. Porter 5 Forces yang di depan Bang kayaknya. Nah, Porter 5 Forces is an industry level of analysis. So you need to see it not only from the perspective of your company, but retailers in the e-commerce world. Gitu. Terus chapter 3. Chapter 3 comprise of two part, right? Like the previous slide. Two part. Alternative. The alternative should be based on root cause. Because consumer behavior is only part of the root cause analysis. So apa itu namanya? I think in MBA final project, when you search, when you spread a questionnaire or try to get insight from the customer, usually there are two parts. Ideally there are two parts. The first one is to identify what's wrong with the company, and the second part is to kind of see what kind of solution that they want. Nah, in your analysis, I think it's better if you compare from your customer behavior analysis, you get what the customer want, and then compare it with what you have already right now. So that way, you know where to fix. So in the root cause, the conclusion should be, okay, this problem, I have this problem because this is the gap between my company and what the customer wants, and my weaknesses compared to my competitors. Gitu. Nah, jadi business solution-nya tadi kan menurut saya itu agak tiba-tiba. Saya punya solusi ini sama ini gitu. Jadi di bab 3 itu idealnya dari root cause ketemu, oke, yang masalah ternyata review tentang produk saya isinya begini, padahal konsumen itu begini maunya reviewnya. Itu kan ada kan ya tadi salah satu. Nah, ya, Bu. Jadi solusi untuk masalah ini ini gitu. Nah, itu alternatifnya ditunjukkan. Biasanya di business solution itu ada banyak alternatif, terus ada proses reduksi yang mana yang tepat untuk ininya, atau apa itu namanya? Solusi yang tepat atau prioritisasi gitu. Terus ya terus can you go to the consumer, nah okay, in this part respondent internet user throughout Indonesia and DBP consumer, are all of the respondent are DBP consumer?
No, they mix.
Okay. Did you conduct a further analysis differentiating between non-consumer and the customer?
Yeah, I have the data.
Saran saya itu apa kan banyak yang dalam bentuk ada yang bentuk min ya, yang rata-rata analisisnya. Jadi coba tolong dianalisa ada nggak sih bedanya yang non konsumen sama yang konsumen. Karena kan kalau konsumen sebenarnya kita ngejarnya ke repeat purchase. Kalau yang non konsumen itu yang tadi yang conversion itu tadi kan. Jadi yang concernnya mereka itu kan gini, belum tentu concernnya yang non konsumen sama yang current konsumen itu sama. Jadinya perlu diperdalam lagi ke yang non konsumen. I think that's all from me. I'm sorry, I only make comments instead of asking.
Thank you, Bu Atik, for your
Okay.
Very useful for me.
Okay, Pak Yanto, going back to you.
Thank you, Bu Atik. And this is one comment before I start asking several questions based on your presentation and also your manuscript. And this is applied to all MBA CCE student. Okay, so compared to your fellow MBA EFS student, you should have more interest in doing your final project because it will be determine your future. Yeah, compared to your MBA EFS student, they're just doing it for the sake of graduating from the program. Okay, but in your case, especially someone like you, Rinaldi, you're going to use whatever you put in your writing as your strategies. Okay, because this is your business, so you have more. You should put more interest in putting it down into a paper, into a writing. Okay. And I have to be very honest, a lot of MBA students still have an issues on that part. Okay, they have a really good business. But when it comes to putting it down into a writing, and then that's where all the problem began. Okay, and that's one thing, and it's also happening in your case. And I'm going to go through it one by one. So. Bu Atik was already mentioning, and it's already focusing on the main issues that I have with your presentation, with your final project. Okay, a lot of things you're just jumping into conclusion, and then I don't know where you have the input. All of a sudden, you have the output. Okay. And including the concept of conversion rate as well. So your whole idea is to increase the conversion rate of your product at Shopee, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then you're saying that you only have 5.6 something percent on the conversion rate. Okay. How can you tell that it's low, medium, or high?
Actually, I already did the research for it's low or not based on the standard industry, but I didn't put in my research. If we see from the industry standard, actually it's not low, but I want to increase the sales by maximizing its potential visitor.
Well, that's the thing. You're saying something low, you need to compare it with something, right? And if you compare it with the industrial standard, what you achieved was actually higher even compared to the e-commerce conversion rate in global setting, right? Because in the global setting, it's only 3.8%. Okay, so 5.6, that's like doubling the industrial standard for global setting. Okay, so I don't see any issues on that part. I don't see any issues on that part. Okay, so if you would like to sell to increase your sales volume, then it has nothing to do with your low conversion rate. Meaning that it cannot be considered as low. It cannot considered it cannot considered as low because the standard for your industry is already been achieved. Ya. Jadi ada salah persepsi, and then the title itself is kind of misleading. Ya.
Yeah.
Kan nggak mungkin kamu bisa ngeklaim it's low while the average of the industry itself is only half your achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to work on the on the title.
Yeah.
Okay. So probably how to increase your sales volume, but in terms of the conversion rate itself, I don't see any issues with it. Ya. Dan harusnya kamu bangga gitu bisa melewati level industries. Okay. Cuman kalau kamu masih belum puas, that's totally different stories. Okay, that's totally different stories. Okay, but if you claim it's low, then you have no base to such claim. Yeah, you have no base to such claim. So you need to rework on the title of your project.
Yeah.
And then like Bu Atik already mentioned, that the way you put your thought into the writing process is still all over the place. Okay, I have to be very bluntly honest with you. It's still all over the place because I don't know what encouraged you to put BMC as an internal analysis. Could you tell us why you think BMC is part of your internal analysis?
I put the BMC in internal analysis because I make it based on the FGD with my team. So because it come from my team from the internal, so I think it's the internal analysis. Not
is that how we supposed to define internal analysis? Because you have an FGD with your team, then it should be internal analysis?
Actually no. Wait.
Jadi kalau saya ngomongin what happened in the United States currently, and I did with my team, within my team, my internal team, then what happened in the United States should be my internal analysis. Is that how it works?
No. That's my mistake, because because it is yeah, I'm a little confused. It's mixed that because there is internal and external factor.
Yeah, it's very misleading if you put BMC as an internal analysis, right? Since if you look into the detail of the 9 boxes in the business model canvas, okay, it has both internal and external analysis. Yeah. So it will be misleading if you're just using BMC as your internal analysis, because you also have competitor analysis when it, right? You also have to understand which partner that you're going to work with. Okay, so in order for you to understand which partner that you're going to work with, you need to understand the whole concept of the industry. Okay, that you need to understand the whole concept of the industry. So I would suggest that you remove BMC for your internal analysis, and then put it somewhere else. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And then so if we remove BMC from your internal analysis, what are you going to do in that part, internal analysis? What kind of approach that you're going to put it in there?
For internal analysis, wait, yeah, in this part. Yeah, I already have the STP analysis and marketing mix, but for like Bu Ati comment that I will more deeply focus and analysis in marketing mix and
Nah, ini yang saya bilang cherry picking. This is why I said it cherry picking, right? Because all of the sudden you're concentrating on the marketing part without having justification whether the issue is in that part or not, right? Nah, seharusnya in the internal analysis, the appropriate thing that you can do is to see the whole entire value chain of your company. Ya. Jadi harusnya dilihat dari value chain-nya. Di value chain kan marketing salah satunya. Okay. So at the end of the day, when you do all the value chain, meaning that you're going to analyze your internal strength or weaknesses, then you'll be able to saying out loud that, hey, we have issues in the marketing area, yeah, or we have issues in the operation area, we have issues in the HR area, okay, we have issues in the inventory areas. Yeah. Karena kalau enggak, ya kebayang nggak? Jadi kayak kamu entah tapak di mana memutuskan, oh marketing nih isunya.
Yeah.
Padahal internal analisisnya belum dilakukan secara menyeluruh. Nah, this is not for the sake of your thesis only. This is for the sake of your business. This is for the sake of your business. In order for you to understand what caused something, you need to broaden your horizon. Jangan langsung cherry picking. Oh, ini masalahnya marketing. Oh, ini masalahnya customer behavior. Yeah. Itu yang Bu Atik bilang tadi, you need to understand the concept of your root cause first. Okay, once you understand the concept of your root cause, then you'll be able to generate some alternative solution. Okay, and then once you have your alternative solution on the chapter 3, then you're going to choose which one are you going to solve based on the root cause. Jadi akan bukan hanya bagus di paper gitu ya, tapi ini akan sangat membantu bisnis kamu beneran gitu. Jadi jangan sampai salah mengidentifikasi, because you understand the concept of HR, right? Once you have the wrong analysis, then you're going to have the wrong conclusion, then you're going to invest in something that's probably not the cause of your problem. Yeah, so that's one thing. And like I said, since you already cherry picking that the issues in the marketing area and in specifically with the customer behavior, which is very dangerous, right? Which is very dangerous. I would suggest that you also did some external analysis, especially in regard to the macro analysis. What's going on out there? What's going on out there? Ya. Bisa jadi customer behavior-nya sekarang berubah, or it could be that the customer behavior is changing, or the conversion rate is lowering compared to your expectation because what's going on out there. Iya kan?
Ya.
Bisa jadi karena pandemik semuanya kayak gini gitu. Jadi ya cukup bilang ya ini gara-gara pandemik gitu. Karena apapun yang akan kamu lakukan, kalau root cause-nya tetap ada di situ, ya kamu nggak akan bisa kemana-mana. Jadi jangan mengabaikan sesuatu yang sifatnya makro, terus kamu mau solve dengan pendekatan yang sama sekali nggak in line dengan what's going on out there. Itu yang, jadi tolong lakukan makro analisisnya dulu. Ya, lakukan makro analisisnya dulu, what's going on out there, meaning that if the macro analysis saying that there's nothing wrong with the world, there's nothing wrong with your industries, and then you're still seeing that your conversion rate trend is still decreasing, then you have an issues. Ya kan? Kebayang common sense-nya kan? Di
Ya,
ya, kalau di luarnya sana ada masalah, kalau di sananya baik-baik aja sementara kamu turun, ya berarti ada satu yang nggak pas di bisnis strategi kamu. Okay? Tapi kalau the whole industry is sinking, and then you experience the same thing, then the only thing you can do is to survive. Kebayang ya?
ya.
Nah, jadi tolong dilakukan makro analisisnya dulu ya.
Yep.
Okay. Kemudian something that's very intriguing, judging from your you do Porter forces analysis for your external, right?
Yeah.
And Porter is part of the micro analysis, so you need to do macro analysis as well. And then some things that very bothering for me when you do Porter 5 forces analysis, at the end of the day, you're saying that your conclusion saying that this industry in terms of Porter 5 forces analysis, it's still low. Is it really necessary the case?
Wait. For
is it high, low, low, low? So the entire thing saying that this industry in terms of Porter 5 forces analysis is still low. Is it really the case?
Ya.
Coba kamu jujur deh di industri kamu yang kamu lakukan saat ini, gitu ya. Bener gitu? Semenyenangkan ini? Artinya kan kalau lo menyenangkan buat kamu untuk masuk di situ kan, ya kan? Masih banyak cuannya, ya. Artinya trade off new entrance-nya kecil, gitu kan? Substitute produk kamu kecil, kompetitornya juga nggak banyak, gitu kan? Ini indah banget, gitu kan? Coba kamu perhatikan, ini indah banget gitu. Kamu berada di industri yang kayaknya baru lahir 2-3 tahun kemarin. Is it really the case?
Okay, so in this actually for the other parts ya yang nggak seindah itu Pak. But,
ya, coba kamu pakai common sense kamu aja ya. Coba use your common sense. You're saying that the forces from the buyer's perspective is high. Why? Kenapa kamu bilang high?
Yeah, because the amount of customer is big and price sensitive, can get product substitute easily, and haven't pay.
Artinya kamu sedang mengkontradiktifkan apa yang kamu omongkan dengan apa yang kamu tulis. Ya. Betul nggak? Force-nya customer itu bisa tinggi, gampang aja lah hukum supply demand. Ya. Dia bisa tinggi karena supply-nya banyak, sehingga dia punya banyak alternatif.
Ya.
Okay. Sehingga force-nya tinggi, gitu kan? Banyak alternatif, entah itu alternatifnya dari kompetitor, entah itu alternatifnya dari new entrance, entah alternatifnya dari substitute product. Okay. Jadi semuanya saya sih nggak yakin bahwa industri ini tuh seindah itu, gitu ya. Force-nya itu dari pengamatan saya sekilas saja force-nya tinggi banget ini. Barrier to entry-nya rendah loh. Benar nggak? Kamu merasa nggak barrier to entry-nya rendah kan? Siapapun bisa main di industri ini.
Ya benar Pak. But I add some notes that for new entrants it's easy for become new entrant seller, but it's difficult to compete because it need a large amount of capital and the experience. Ya, but
ya kalau saya sekarang punya banyak duitnya kan jadi rendah banget kan?
Ya, but it can be.
Tapi kalau trade off, ya kalau new entrance-nya rendah itu kalau dalam kondisi sekalipun saya banyak capitalnya, tapi saya nggak bisa masuk di industri itu karena saya dihalangi oleh undang-undang.
Oh, okay.
Ya, misalnya di industri telekomunikasi, gitu kan? Meskipun banyak pemain asing yang pengen masuk di industri itu, but it's being protected by a lot of regulation. So nggak bisa pemain asing main di situ. Ya.
Thank you sir for
barrier to entry-nya jadi tinggi meskipun kapitalnya ada. Ya. Tapi kalau
Oke.
barrier to entry-nya hanya capital, dan saya yakin juga capitalnya nggak segunung yang diperlukan gitu kan. Artinya barrier to entry-nya nggak seketat yang kamu bayangkan. Jadi kalau misalnya saya patungan sama Mbak Atik dan punya uangnya gitu ya, saya bisa loh ngikutin bisnis model kamu ya. Tinggal beli dari China gitu ya, kemudian saya beli dalam bentuk bulk, saya jual lagi gitu. Kan as simple as that.
Okay,
Right?
thank you.
So the barrier to entry is not really that high. Okay, so you need to reassess again your quarter 5 forces analysis because it gives the wrong impression. It gives the wrong impression, and I'm afraid that it's going to be your proposed strategy later on is going to be very overrated. Itu yang harus diperhatikan. So I'm not convinced with your analysis on the quarter 5 forces analysis. So please reassess again. Okay, reassess again to come up with the right conclusion. Okay, to come up with the right conclusion.
Siap, Pak. Makasih. Thank you for the insight.
And also, this is something that's already mentioned by Bu Atik actually. Your SWOT analysis, the variable. Look at, okay, your SWOT analysis, the variable. Okay, this one. Where are all these variables coming from?
From this variable, it come from the discussion with my team, but actually there is a data from my store, and yeah, it's from discussion and data from store.
Ya, makanya banyak yang menggunakan, a lot of people, almost everyone using SWOT analysis, and then they take it for granted. Okay, they take it for granted. First thing first, okay, the strength and weaknesses. Strength and weaknesses is coming from your internal analysis. Ya. Jadi apa yang kamu lakukan di internal analysis, ya, dari situlah kamu dapat variabel-variabelnya. Kalau enggak, ngapain juga bikin internal analysis? Kalau nggak dijadikan sebagai bahan atau input untuk menganalisis SWOT strateginya nanti. Ya. Jadi your strength and weaknesses should be coming from your internal analysis. Ya. Kemudian internal analysisnya coba kamu assess dari value chain produk kamu atau company kamu. Ya, kamu kuatnya di mana, gitu ya? Kamu masih lemahnya di mana? Ya, jadi ngelihatnya dari rantai pasok, ya, dari value chain. Okay. Value chain itu kasarnya, in a simple nutshell, you're going to assess from you buying product, let's say from China, okay, and then it goes into your warehouse in-house. And then you're going to do whatever you necessary to do, okay, to sell it, and then finally it goes for selling. Nah, itu coba rantai perjalanannya, kamu mulai dari kamu mengakuisisi produk sampai nanti kamu jual, gitu. Itu lewat proses apa aja, kemudian kamu assess kamu sudah kuat di mana, masih lemah di mana.
Okay.
Ya. Nah, yang kuat itu jadi strength, yang lemahnya menjadi weaknesses. Okay. And then the opportunity and threat, it should be coming from your external analysis. Yeah. Karena opportunity and threat is something out there. It beyond your control. Iya kan? Yeah. Yang namanya peluang sama ancaman itu kan datangnya bukan dari dalam perusahaan, tapi dari eksternal. Makanya external analysis menjadi penting. Ya. Nah, waktu melakukan external analysisnya, do it on the macro level and also do it on the micro level. In the macro level, you already did it, even though you need to readjust, which is your quarter 5 forces. Yeah. Oke. Okay? Nah, kalau semuanya sudah dilakukan, jadi kamu bisa justify your SWOT analysis. Nah, jadi kelihatan kan ininya apa? Sequence-nya.
Ya.
Ya. Jadi kelihatan sequence-nya bahwa ini didapat dari mana gitu ya. Oke. Nah, kalau sudah dapat ini kan enak kamu masuk ke chapter sebelum chapter 3 lah. Dari sini kamu bisa mengenerate beberapa alternative solution. Ya. So you can generate some alternative solution based on your SWOT analysis. Okay. And then when you go into the chapter 3, you're going to choose among those alternative based on your root cause. Ya, kan Anda nggak bisa, lu nggak mungkin menyelesaikan semua atau mengeksekusi semua alternative solution. Ya kan? You have to choose which one will be your priority, like Bu Atik said. Okay, and in order for you to be able to choose which priority that you should go with, it should be based on your root cause tadi. Ya. Oh, ternyata emang root cause-nya itu ada di marketing, spesifiknya lagi apa? Di customer behavior-nya. Nah, barulah kamu bisa menjustify bagaimana kamu mau melakukan intervensi gitu ya, untuk mengubah behavior si customer tadi. Kalau memang masalahnya di customer behavior.
Ya.
Oke, jadi dari situlah baru kamu bisa masuk ke bab 3-nya itu enak gitu. Kamu bisa, selain bisa justified, dan kamu juga ketika mengeksekusinya nanti, kenapa saya selalu lebih cerewet di anak-anak MBA CCE yang seperti saya bilang, you're going to execute this gitu kan. Kalau anak-anak YP, it stop once they finish their paper. But for you, it's not stopping there. You're going to utilize whatever you put in your writing. Ya. Kalau ternyata yang di-put-nya bermasalah, terus kamu investasi di situ, eksekusi, gagal, kan rugi waktu dan rugi investasi juga. Rugi duit lah, iyalah pasti ruginya lebih gede lagi gitu. Ya, ruginya lebih gede lagi. Dan I know you since the business initiation class, right? So this is something that you actually implement, you actually execute for your business. Okay. Makanya saya sama Bu Ati agak-agak cerewet ya, sayang aja gitu. Ya. Yeah, you need to think larger instead of just graduating from the program. Yeah.
Siapa?
Lu pegang MBA juga di bisnis lu kan sebenarnya nggak ngaruh-ngaruh banget gitu kan?
Ya gelarnya enggak Pak, ilmunya.
Iya kan, gelarnya enggak kan, ilmunya. Makanya yang saya kejar adalah ilmunya.
Ijazah
Yang memastikan bahwa kamu tuh benar melakukannya dan dengan plan yang benar. Oh, dengan plan yang benar aja masih sering miss gitu ya. Apalagi kalau plannya salah. Gitu. Okay, I think I already asked all the necessary question that I need to ask you. Hopefully you take the notes, okay, Aldi? Both from my side and also from Bu Atik. Okay, is there anything else that you would like to add, Bu Atik?
Ya, ada kecenderungan mahasiswa itu agak bikin conceptual framework agak template gitu. Jadi semua dimasukkan. Makanya tadi pertanyaan pertama saya, gimana analisis itu tadi berhubungan sama whatever problem that you identified in the first chapter.
Itu memang tugas kita berat di situ. Conveying the message.
Terus tadi yang porternya itu ya setuju sebenarnya, kayaknya ada mispersepsi juga atau mungkin pemahaman yang kurang untuk porter 5 forces di mahasiswa. Jadi kebanyakan mahasiswa analisis itu cuman high low ya sudah gitu. Padahal sebenarnya yang dikejar itu tadi Pak Yanto nyentuh itu juga, profitability potential of the industry as a whole itu kayak gimana sih gitu. Sebenarnya yang dikejar itu dari analisa Porter 5 forces. Nah, bahwa masing-masing forces itu berkontribusi pada tekanan untuk profit di industri itu gitu. Jadinya yang belum diidentifikasi ya itu biasanya hilangnya mesti di situ. Gitu. Itu aja sih dari saya, Pak.
Ya betul. Jadi hello. Oh,
Yeah.
did I miss? Okay. So thank you, Bu Atik. Yeah, that's the final conclusion of Porter, right? At the end of the day, he's trying to say to all of us whether this industry is still profitable or not. Masih ada cuannya nggak sih? Gitu ya. Given all of the forces, gitu ya, given all of the forces, lu kira-kira masih bisa mengambil cuan nggak di situ? Gitu. Sementara industrinya sudah mature banget. Kalau forcesnya gede semua kan berarti udah mature industrinya. Oke, kalau hasil analisis kamu tadi semuanya low, cuma satu yang tinggi kan, ini industri yang baru tumbuh, gitu kan, which is very misleading. So you have to understand that one. Okay, if there's no other concern from Bu Atik, I need to ask Aldi and your supporter to give us around 5 minutes to have an internal discussion, and then at exactly let's say 10:18, you may rejoin this Zoom room again. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Bu Atik.